Ok, então vamos lá.
I will just share quickly. We have some slides from Coimbra. It's
Just one.
Okay. Coimbra is the right place to be. It's a really lovely city. For those of you who don't know it yet, go there and check it. And some teaser about what you have in Coimbra. And now the panel.
Okay, thank you very much. So, welcome to this panel on attracting and retaining technological talent, which is a major challenge for cities nowadays. So the presentations have been made. Just to remember that we have here with us Miguel Fonseca, City Councillor from Coimbra. We have Rui Monteiro from the Economics Department or Development Department Municipality of Coimbra, from Municipality of Porto, and then Luís Rodrigues from Startup Braga. Okay. And we are going to have a chat about talents, what it means to be able to attract talents, how can we actually do it. And I would start by making the same question to everyone, just asking our panel members to introduce themselves and to give us a very short view about their vision about this problem and their vision about how we can tackle this problem and try to create cities that are vibrant and are able to attract the best talent they need. Okay, so I'll just start from my left with Rui Monteiro. Can you share with us your vision on this?
Yes, the mic is on, I think. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I would like to say thank you for the invitation for City of Porto to be present on this panel. It was supposed to be Ricardo Valente, City Councillor for Economic Employment and Entrepreneurship, so I'm here on his behalf. So in terms of talent, this has been on the top agenda of this executive since, I will say, the first beginning. This is now the third mandate of this running mayor, so this issue of talent has been on top of the agenda in terms of economic development of the city. What have the city has been done in terms of regarding talent and specifically tech talents? I think the key word that I can share with you very briefly is to address market gaps. So in terms of public policy, our role as a public entity is to see how the market is doing and see with the key stakeholders of the city, how can we address the needs of the market. What we have seen is that there is a gap between supply and demand in terms of competences, technical competences, in terms of the market related to this specific area of tech. We have, of course, University of Porto, we have Polytechnical of Porto, like in Braga we have the university, also in Coimbra also, and we work with them, but we are working increasingly with stakeholders of the city that address specific demands in terms of talent in these specific areas. And they are working also with University and Polytechnical. I will give you two short examples because I think the goal here is to share some ideas of what cities are doing. And the first one, for example, happened very recently. We have an association in Porto called Porto Tech Hub that combines a lot of tech companies in the city. And they have their own training hub inside the association. And very recently they made a protocol with the Polytechnical of Porto in order to address market failures in terms of specific areas and specific competence to address market demands. And very recently, a very big financial institution, in this case Banco Santander, reached out to Porto Municipality to say, we have seen this project, we like it, how can we help? So a completely private entity related to the banking sector that, let's say, asked us to make the bridge between this association that represents a lot of stakeholders of the city, I will say most of them, and they are now giving grants to this association that with the Polytechnical is giving specific training upskill, reskilling in specific related to tech talent. So this is a practical example of how the city is, let's say, connecting stakeholders to address this issue of talent. Another example is that something that sometimes we are inside our small world and we think we need to figure out solutions for every problem, and we need to look around what is happening around us in the world and what is good examples that we can import. And the other good example that I can share with you, Porto was the second city to bring this project to Portugal, is School 42. I think most of them probably know. Who knows School 42? 1, 2, 3. I would expect more. So this is a model, an international model that is based in France. Is called École 42. That we brought to Porto. The first one was in Lisbon. So it's a school that runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, with a very specific focus on training in terms of developers, is completely free and is financed by public and private institutions. And they have strong partnership also with stakeholders like Altice. So this is a school that is running in Porto. 25% of the students are already graduate students from areas that are mostly not related to tech. So this is something that we are working on also regarding what we called reskilling, okay? Something that you can look for and explore a little bit. So I would say for start, yes. I share these two projects of Porto Tech Hub and how this association is working with the Porto and the municipality and the stakeholders, and École 42, that is an international case that is now present in Porto. And I think Miguel will talk also in a different, let's say, perspective about these projects.
Thank you, Rui. Now let's hear about Coimbra. So we have the City Council responsible for economy, entrepreneurship, investment and employment. So how is Coimbra dealing with these challenges?
Well, good morning to everyone. I want to greet the organizers and for this invitation. And firstly, I want to say this is the second best destination for this conference after Coimbra last year. That's the first point. And so I don't know if it's possible to share our just the second slide of our presentation. Well, and I want to greet and to welcome everyone to Portugal, to Braga, and to say firstly that in Coimbra we are, especially on the municipality, we are on the first mandate of this executive, and this is a hard way, but we have dealing during these 3 years with some challenges. The main challenge that we are dealing is to, and that is common to our municipalities and to this country, is to retain talent in Portugal and retain talent in Coimbra. We have the higher pool of talent in a medium-sized city in Portugal, at around 8,500 talents that live from our institutions each year. Mainly from university, but also by the Polytechnic Institution, Polytechnic Institute that will evaluate for Polytechnic University, and also by our private schools of higher education. And what we are doing during these 3 years is to take the better conditions from from our ecosystem, and and I want to say for the first intervention that we have been working together with the main stakeholders of our ecosystem, the university, the Polytechnic Institute, our park of science and technology, and the Instituto Pedro Nunes, that is the incubator of the university that has been one of the top 10 incubators in the world. And this is a common mission and a common work that we are doing. That have been some results about attracting multinationals to Coimbra during these years, like Airbus, like Accenture, like Deloitte, PwC, a Constellation Group that begin their operations in Coimbra, mainly because of this ecosystem, this common work on retailing talent and adapt their supply to the needs of the market and to needs of enterprises. And I want also to highlight one project that is similar to that one that we talked about, is TUMO project that is being developed in Armenia. That is the first digital and center on creative industries in Iberia, that was built in Coimbra, that was created in Coimbra in 2023. Also in a building, in an historic building in downtown, that is the building of Altice, and that is the building of the postcard, and that is an historic building in our centers, in our historic center. That is a project similar to Escola 42, that is also free, with partners both private and public, like the municipality of Coimbra. That is free for students between 12 and 18 years, and that allows them with some areas like robotics, like cinema, music, and I think they are 8 areas of knowledge that want to prepare the next generation to this challenge of not create talent, but retaining the talent in our regions. That is one of the projects that I want to highlight, and that has been developed. It's an innovative project in Portugal. The first one was in Coimbra. The second one was created this year in Lisbon, and that is an highlight of our work with the entrepreneurial, innovative, and ecosystem of Coimbra. And it's the first one the first main achievement that I want to highlight, and also that common work that has been taking good results, and we have good results in attracting multinational enterprises for our city, for our municipality.
Thank you very much. Luís, you are the director of Startup Braga, which is a special type of talent attraction. But can you tell us about Braga, and how do you see Braga being able to also play this role of attracting, retaining talent?
Sure. Thank you so much, and thank you word also to the organizing committee, and congratulations for this conference in Braga. Well, what can I say? From our side, as Startup Braga, we act as an innovation hub, as an incubator and accelerator. We support startups in 5 main verticals, from digital economy to medtech, biotech, nanotechnology, and sustainability. And we are part of Invest Braga, which is a municipal company totally owned by the municipality. And from Invest Braga and Startup Braga, I would say that part of the strategy of the municipality of retaining and attracting talent is being developed through the last 10 years. Obviously, from our side, we are talking specifically of tech talent in these main domains, as I was saying. I would say that one of the main challenges that we have is trying to retain graduates after they conclude their degrees at university. The University of Minho has more than 20,000 students between Braga and Guimarães, probably around 13,000 here in Braga, in a city of 200,000 people. You obviously understand the importance and the role that the University of Minho plays in the development of the city and the region. And we try to address when we selected these 5 innovation verticals, we tried to identify which were the main strengths of the city, looking at the main knowledge centers and higher education institutions, not only the University of Minho, but also the Polytechnic Institute of Cabo and Ave, and also the Catholic Portuguese University. So trying to leverage this talent, these main areas of knowledge, and trying to create value in this. Obviously, to this point, it's crucial that we are able to address and to create strong bonds and connections between the municipality, the local development agencies, the higher education institutions, the R&D institutions, obviously to try to promote these competitive careers in different fields. In the other side of Invest Braga, not Startup Braga, we also have a department to promote the economic development and investment attraction, in which we've been developing a project called Work in Braga for the last 5-10 years, also trying to be aligned with the main strategy of a network of the Braga business ambassadors, trying also to fill those market gaps that Rui mentioned before in specific niches, like Braga has from the construction field or a significantly different field like IT or ICT. Braga, I would say, and Rui José can definitely speak much more with much more property than me about this, but Braga, since the 90s, has been playing an important role in the ICT sector in Portugal, from where have been emerging some important companies in Portugal like Primavera, F3M, Eurotux, and many others. And also, I believe that in some way, the success of these companies was able to also create a vibrant ecosystem that was capable after that to attract other companies to come to Braga. Another important aspect is also that probably 10 or 15 years ago we could have some companies, some big corporates like Bosch or Aptiv in Braga, but they were mainly, I would say, in manufacturing. We are now talking about having significant or important development and research departments of those corporates here in Braga, and the example of Bosch is paradigmatic. It turned from a 1,000 department here in Braga to a 4,000 people company here in Braga, and addressing the future of human and machine interface when it comes to the automotive sector. So I would address these topics to start.
Thank you, Luís. So it seems like all these cities are very concerned about the issue. They recognize the problem. They're trying to develop their own policies. So we heard about attracting companies. We heard about training people, retaining the people who are coming out of universities. So there's different strategies. So a shorter question now for how do you see these different strategies, retaining, attracting, growing talent, and which ones might actually be more effective right now in this particular context to promote talent attraction for the city?
Yeah. So Miguel talked that they were on the first term, and the first thing that it should be clear is that this takes a lot of time. This is not done in one mandate. I made this because I'm not city councillor, so I can say that. Because in Porto we are ending a 12-year cycle of the same leadership. So it's important. I'm not talking about who is leading, but this takes time. And we are talking about two words, attract and retain. These are completely different things. Because the first thing is that we need for the talent to have a bite. It's like going to a restaurant. Someone say, I recommend you to go to this restaurant. If the first experience is good, and sometimes this happens, for example, Erasmus students that is in Porto, that is here for a semester, and then ends the student cycle and come back to the city of Porto. So attract is one thing and retain is another. I would say that attract, it's a short-term and retain it's long-term approach. The other thing that I would like to share is this is the holistic approach, okay? Like Luis said, this is not just about, this is about universities, polytechnicals, incubators, specialized fields, but this is also an holistic approach because we need quality of life. We need security. We need, like Miguel said, 15-minute city, okay? So when we're talking about talent, we are talking about people, okay? I have a son it's 21, and he was in a different city, so he made the bite, he tasted the dish, and now he wants to come back for more and more and more, okay? The other thing that I think it's crucial is that, as you could see in terms of policy and approach, this is something that all the stakeholders should be aligned. And if there is this alignment, it's easier to attract and retain talent. For example, when we are talking about foreign direct investment, and someone comes to the city, wants to explore what's in the city, and is welcomed by Miguel Fonseca or by Ricardo Valente and say, we want you here, we want to support your investment here, we want, like Invest Braga or Invest Porto does, specific project managers to help identify location, identify talent, identify potential partnerships. So if this is, let's say, an holistic approach, this is a good step to attract and retain talent. And so this is inside a more holistic approach. So this is an approach that combines foreign direct investment with Invest Porto, similar to Invest Braga. It's regarding the talent itself, that is a project called TERA, that is called Talent, Evolution, Retain and Attract. So 2 of the words of the conference, 3 are there already. This is also regarding Scale Up Porto, that is, let's say, sister of Braga, Startup Braga, because when we talk about talent, we are talking about digital nomads, startups, scale-ups that in the end can be, it's not mandatory, big companies. So we need to look at this also in terms of the city itself, because we can have the biggest IT center, but if we don't have mobility, if we don't have security, if we don't have good quality of life, it doesn't work. So the approach should be holistic, responding to your direct question. And then we have the positioning, because what Porto can offer in a 41 square kilometer city, the Porto is the 10th smallest municipality in the country in terms of square meters. I will repeat, 41 is completely different of what Braga can offer and what Coimbra can offer. So when sometimes we receive people in Porto that wants to invest in Porto, but they are talking about Porto, but they cross the bridge and they say, I was in Porto yesterday when I arrived, but they were in Gaia, and they landed in Porto, but it's not Porto, it's Maia. So we should look at the territory in a more, let's say, bird-eye view. And sometimes people are working in Porto, but they have production facilities outside Porto, for example, in Braga. So this connection with the cities is also important. That's why we have here 3 cities. In terms of positioning, to close my answer, Porto is, we usually say in terms of talent that we want to be the Premier League of talent in Porto. Because today, if you are a very good football player, you want to play in the Premier League. So this is our positioning in terms of talent.
Thank you. So I'm going to introduce another topic now. So Miguel, you talked about being able to attract many companies to Coimbra. As you know, we are having a large exodus of young people to other countries, basically not because they lack jobs here in Portugal, but mainly because they can have much higher salaries somewhere else and maybe better opportunity in general. So how do you see that a city like Coimbra is able to also attract type of companies which then will be able to pay higher salaries and actually retain the best talent that the city has?
Well,
it's an unfair question to just say because it's a very national issue. But
yes, in the first intervention, I talked about the 8,500 talents that leave our institution. But we have in the university and in the university ecosystem, let's say it like that, we have 40,000 here, 40,000 students in a city with 145,000 inhabitants, and so it's a very important piece on our city, the higher student and the higher our institutions of our higher students, and so the attraction of talent is one of our priorities, as I said. Like Rui Monteiro talked about, time is very important in this strategy. This strategy takes time, but we have some ambassadors very important, like Fidzai, the only unicorn that is in Portugal and in Coimbra, like Critical Software, and these ambassadors. Not formal ambassadors are also very important to show how Coimbra is a good place to study, firstly, to live, to develop their businesses, and we have some points that are very important in that strategy: the quality of life. And the security, that is very important nowadays. The quality of life, the mobility, the sustainable mobility that we are also dealing with, the bicycle paths. The first BRT in Portugal, bus rapid transit, that will give an upgrade to the mobility in the city, especially on the city center, and also that we have talked about the strong ties, the strong connections that we have in the municipality with these pieces of the ecosystem. That is quite important because in our meetings with multinationals, we join at the same site, in the same room, the municipality, the university, the Polytechnic Institute, our technological park, especially as Rui said, to show that we are fully compromised with that challenge, and we want to attract that investment, that multinationals, but also other kind of companies to Coimbra, because we have the right conditions for that: the quality of life, the mobility, the quality of the high pool of talent that we have on our institutions, and also I want to say that there was one. In our city, we have two main clusters: the tech cluster and the health cluster. Last week, we did the second edition of Coimbra Invest Summit. Coimbra Invest Summit is an event that was created by our executive in the second edition this year, and there are two main goals with this event: to promote the entrepreneurship ecosystem of Coimbra, and also to position Coimbra as a place to investment. And one of our goals, one of our main issues on this event is to highlight the two main clusters in Coimbra, the tech cluster and also the health cluster. And each year we will promote an emerging cluster. This year was the space cluster that is on the Pedro Nunes incubator, especially on the Business Innovation Center of European Space Agency for 10 years. It completed 10 years on the event last week, and that is a strategy that wants to highlight the consolidated clusters of tech and health in Coimbra. And so it is a good answer to this question, and also each year to take conditions to these emerging clusters like space this year and like tourism in the edition of 2025.
Thank you very much. Luís, you are an expert on startups, which I believe might be a topic of interest to our audience. So let's introduce that topic. As an incubator, you run these acceleration programs. I suppose you managed to attract many international startups. How do you see this effect in terms of the city and the ability of city to retain its own startups to start with? Because there's always good examples. Coimbra's, for example, Feedzai and Critical Software.
Definitely.
We also have in Braga our own examples. But in the sense, once they become very good, they also need to go somewhere else. So how do you deal with these challenges?
Yeah. I think we have two completely different realities. 10 years ago when we started, it was, I wouldn't say quite easy, but it was, comparing to the existing reality, it was easier to attract startups to our own programs, to our acceleration programs, incubation programs, and so on. There was a short number of tech-based incubators in Portugal. Even in Europe 10 years ago, there was not that number of hundreds and hundreds of incubators and accelerators that you have now. So it was completely a different reality 10 years ago. Now we really have to struggle to attract those international startups from different fields, and how can we be competitive on our value proposition to attract those entrepreneurs and startups. One of our strategies is we've been trying to address, as mentioned before, specific niches. We've been developing also in partnership with some corporates and some institutions, some specific programs in specific verticals, like in the tourism sector, or in the sports tech sector, or in the human and planetary health areas, trying to engage important corporates and institutions to also to add their value to those programs. Some examples: we developed in partnership with the Tourism of Portugal and the Municipality of Braga an accelerator called high-tech tourism. We developed last year a program with SC Braga, the main football club and one of the main sports entities in Portugal, a sports tech accelerator called SCB Innovation Hub, trying to support startups in 4 different subsectors in the sports field, from health and performance, from smart venue and smart stadium, to fan engagement, and also to football and sports. So, and it was quite interesting when we started in some way pivoting our own programs. We were able to increase significantly the number of international programs, projects applying to our programs. In this specific case of high-tech tourism and SCB Innovation Hub, these tech tourism and sports tech accelerators that we've developed in the last years, we increased our percentage of international projects applying to these programs for more than 60% of the total of the application. So it was quite significant. Another topic, I think it is also related to the specialization strategy that we have been following. We don't want to be just another incubator. We want to be aligned with main strengths of the regional innovation ecosystem. We've been trying also to align with the regional and the national strategy when it comes to cluster specialization, or, for example, very recently the development regional authority of Portugal in the north, the CCVRN, launched a call for new technological infrastructures in the north, and they mapped the main market needs in those municipalities or regions, what we call the intermunicipal communities, and they specifically addressed 4 market needs in the sub-region of Cávado, that has 6 municipalities around Braga, and they specifically identified the need in the biomed tech, the need in the sustainable construction, the coast and maritime ecosystems, and also in the design and textiles. And obviously, for us, it made all sense to try to build a candidacy and application for this new technological infrastructure in the biomed tech field. So we've been also trying to align our local development strategy when it comes to innovation with I would say, the common and general development strategy of the regional authorities, of the national authorities, to not be competing with Porto or Coimbra or other cities in Portugal for the same talent in the same specific areas or niches, but trying to develop a complementary strategy to increase the competitiveness of Portugal in general, I would say.
Okay, thank you. So I'll have time for one last question, which will be the same to all of you. You all making a very strong effort to make your cities the best places to go for these talented people. But in the sense, your work will be strongly affected by the context, in terms of what you have around you, in terms of national policies. So in a shorter answer, because I'm trying to keep with the time limit, what do you think would be the main changes, or what you'd like to be different in terms of Portugal, in terms of its education system, in terms of national policies, whatever, that would make your work significantly easier. Okay, how this time starts by you. We'll take the other way around. Okay.
Okay, thank you. It's a great question. Very briefly, I think that we all need more stable politics. We should not depend on those short political cycles, and in Portugal, particularly in the last years, we've been facing some instability when it comes to the national government and to attract talent, to retain talent, talking about talent in general, or specifically speaking about entrepreneurs or startups. We need stable politics when it comes to regulation, legislation, tax frameworks, and so on. So I would say that this stability of politics would have a significant impact when it comes to the capacity of attracting and retaining talent.
Thank you, Luís. Miguel?
That is quite easy to answer that. We watched Portugal in the last years, and we see that the main challenge is that the political stability, and because economic agents need to know what is the medium term for its activities, and especially it's a polemic question nowadays in Portugal, the fiscal policy, especially on enterprises. It has to be more competitive in order to attract, especially FDI, especially foreign direct investment. That is quite important nowadays, because the main point I want to finish with two main points. Firstly, the training during life, it's quite important, and it answers to this challenge. Mm-hmm. And also one point that is each day more important. It's not only the university course that you have, but the enterprise that you will create. And for that challenge, stability, regulatory, and especially on fiscal policy, on tax for enterprises, Portugal needs to be more competitive, and that question should not be handled politically as nowadays we are facing in Portugal, and that has impact in all fields, especially on municipalities, because that stability on country, that stability on the political field in Portugal, on government and on public policies, that is quite important. It's very important. Is crucial for our activity on municipalities in our work, in our daily work with our citizens. That is the main challenge: political stability, and especially competitive fiscal policy, especially on enterprises.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Miguel. Rui, your ideas on this?
The last one answer the question starts with most of the things already been said. So just to sign also the issue of stability. Of course, when I'm an economist, I'm an economic by profession, and if I'm looking at Portugal and I want to invest, I will make a past analysis and to see how is the stability, how is the approach to employment and to fiscal taxes and so on. If it's something changes every 12 months, I will look for other destination. That is absolutely clear. So stability is very important. I will say not short-term stability, but 5-10 year stability, because when I'm making my project finance, I need to know what variables should be fixed, and if there is some volatility, it should be low volatility in this aspect. I would say that for cities and regions to have more capability to attract and retain talent, we need to have a clear positioning how we want to see ourselves, the city, the region, and the country. And I will give you an example, maybe most of them you know. When Israel said we are a startup nation, it positioning the country, the whole country, to the world. We are a startup nation. So my question is, what is Portugal?
The message is quite important.
Okay, so we have this final message.
I want to share with you a quite interesting point. Rui Monteiro was my student at Master in Porto University on multinationals. And so we are very on the same side in this question about attracting multinationals for Portugal, attracting FDI. That is a great challenge for Portugal.
Okay, thank you very much. So we'll end up with questions, unanswered questions. But I hope you've all enjoyed this talk. There will be obviously a lot more to discuss. But thank you all for being at this first session, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank the panel and to let you know that these cities and the next ones have always been really keen on helping us setting up this event. So we are also doing our share of work, trying to get new talent. We are showcasing the cities of Portugal. We aim not to repeat a city during the next years, so we should showcase all the region, all the cities in Portugal, hoping to get some of the international attendees to come to our country.
Coimbra is the right place to be.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.